It's finals week. You know what that means, right? It means I better distract myself from my studies by hopping on YouTube and making more content. After this week, it is actually winter break for me, and I'll finally have more free time. So who knows? Maybe I get the series done in December and January. That's my goal. Fingers crossed. No promises, because you know I never keep those. I'm playing Mark Miller in this game. If you've been keeping up with the tournament thus far, I started out pretty hot and then dropped some games to go to 8-8, and then I won the previous round, round 17. So I was at 9-8 coming into this game with a huge spread. So it's good, not great. I'd love to get a win here and try and launch myself back into contention. Mark opens with Kex, and my rack is ANORSUV. I was very excited to see Kex come down because this bingo's with exactly 2 tiles, and Mark gave me one of them. Bingo's with an E, and bingo's with a Y. The Y makes unsavory, and the E makes ravenous. So ravenous comes down for me. Mark responds to ravenous with ova, and me being the luck box that I am, draws DEMORR blank. Woohoo! I'm so good at Scrabble. And by good, I mean I draw well, and then I don't even do the right stuff. There are 2 available doubles here. I saw armored and put it down, and if I had just spent a little bit longer, I should have seen rumored, which is a little bit more defensive. You know, it gives back less at the 12D spot, 12A to 12D. You know, you'd rather not put the val there if you can avoid it. But I'm stupid, so I played armored and gave up potentially more points. Luckily, I didn't get burned or anything by that. Mark comes back with YE, and I was thrilled with my next draw too, AAADEPT. This is actually going to bingo as well, so open the game with 3 straight bingos. You know, sometimes you're just a luck box. I was a little bit nervous about this, but not super worried. I bingo with an R, and there are 2 available R's. Mark ended up blocking neither one, but I figured this was going to come down most of the time. The word is tapadera. You can play it in 2 spots. I don't want to play it here horizontally at 5B because that creates a ton of bingo lines across, you know, the 4 row, and it even opens up some possibilities for 8s. It's just going to lead to a more open board. That's not something you want when you luck box your way into bingoing on the first 3 turns. So tapadera is going to come down right here for 72. And just like that, haven't really had to think about any of my positions here. The one I did have to think a little bit, I did wrong. But I'm up by 140. Hooray, luck box. Mark responds with Claude, and it just kind of looks like it's going to be one of those games, right? There's no reason I shouldn't win this game. But here's one reason that it might get a little more interesting. AEEHIUU. That's not a fun rack ever, but you know, you'd rather have it when you're up 140 than any other time. Not a ton of options here, but typically my philosophy is when I'm up a ton of points, I just want to get more points, right? I want to avoid getting backed into a corner, and I just want to get more points. Unfortunately, some of the plays here that do get points often end up with me back into a corner. I didn't see Diein over the board, but that's a fantastic play. If I do see it, 27, nobody likes holding UUH, but maybe you just drop UH next turn, and then you're close to you almost worked your way out of it. HUE just throws the board open a lot more than you'd like to do here. I ended up scoring 25 with AHI. Like, let's just see what happens with EEUU. That's pretty freaking terrible, but 25 is points, and I'd rather not exchange. If I exchange and then he bingos, like, we're in a close game right now. So maybe I should have exchanged. I think all of these plays are actually pretty close, and playing with a huge lead is not something I'm like superb at, so I'm not the gospel here, but I elected to play Ahi for 25 here. And his response was creatine. So, you know, I'm kind of happy now that I chose to play through that rack, because if I did throw back and then he plays creatine, I'm suddenly only up like 40, and I've got basically a random rack, so I don't think that's a good position for me. EERSUUV is my pull, so how lucky can you be, right? I held EEUU and I picked up RSV. Like, this is about as good as it's gonna get for me. And there's really 2 plays that stand out to me on this position here. Obviously, playing off a U is something you want to do. Getting rid of the V probably and undoubling the E. So if we can play off EUV somewhere, we've got 2 plays that allow that to happen. Uvia for 16 and Eruv for 14. And I'm kind of curious to see how this is going to simulate. because you've got a lead, right? So you want to be defensive, but at the same time, Eruv takes that back S, and I've got a back S, and Mark has a random rack right now. He's just bingoed. So this is like some calculated offense, right? You don't really want to play aggressive offense with the lead, but at the same time, you don't just want to like wall yourself in every time you have a lead, because sometimes you give away games by scoring so little while your opponent scores more. Obviously, Eruv is the more volatile of the two plays. And you can see that pretty clearly reflected by the standard deviations. Opponent's next turn after my Eruv is about 18, whereas it's only 15.8 after Uvia. So he's going to score more or less on average after Eruv. Really just more, so he scores 4 points more. But then if you look at me, I'm scoring 10.5 more after Eruv. So I still like this play in hindsight. I know there are a lot of people who would play Uvia, and I think there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But I just think you've got the upper hand here, so take it. I'm not 100% to win this game too, and it's not like I'm opening a triple right now. It's just an S hook. It could end badly, but also if my opponent doesn't have it and I cash in 40 or 50 their next turn, I'd probably win. Right? The game's probably over. So I elected to play Eruv, and it exploded on my face just about as hard as it possibly could. Bizes comes down for 59, or Bizes, I don't know how you say that. And so suddenly a game where I bingo, bango, bongo on the first 3 turns, I'm barely winning in. This is not good. And I get one of these obnoxious racks. If you've been watching my series enough, you know I hate going to like 1 point jail where you're like kind of close to a bingo, but you're not super close to a bingo, and you're going to score nothing and nothing good is going to happen. That's where I am right now. I'm in 1 point jail again. You can try and be aggressive and fish with like 2E for 3, holding a really nice lead, opening up a bingo line. But also that's a great way to lose a game where you should probably win. So I actually went the complete opposite extreme here. My play doesn't even show up. That's how bad it was. I played Rude over here for 23. I think over the board I had miscounted this. I thought it was a little bit more. IIS is not super fun to hold, and if you look at the unseen pool, there's still 4 more eyes. So, like, if I draw 3 eyes, I won't be surprised at all. But I also want to keep scoring points here, like, again, the best way to lose this game is to dink around with 2E or Dewey or just dropping an I. Like, absolutely not. We're not going to fish. There's no way we play Uric here. But I'm not going to fish in a game where I've got the upper hand. I'm not going to play that and open up a bingo line. I don't really want to burn the S with Suicide. The board is pretty closed, so S's aren't good right now. But, there are a lot of ways where you can make the board very S-friendly or S-important. So I'd like to hold on to the S just to preserve my lead here, kind of defensively. So I decided to play Rude, and looking at these other options, like, I still don't like any of them. Do you open a triple? Like, I don't think so. 2E seems stupid. So I don't know. Iris also seems pretty stupid. Maybe I could do something like Uteri over here for 15. Just leaves a more balanced leave, probably avoids drawing 3 eyes next turn. It does open some bingo lines, but I don't care too much about those because I get to crush counterplays if those do come down, unless the bingo's from the I. I assume he's going to bingo from the R instead. So anyway, Rude is what I decided to do. I still don't hate this play. I'm vulnerable maybe to TS bingos or something like that, bingos that end in TS, but, I still think I like this play. And he comes back right away with Qubit, and it's like, oh man, like, I've really screwed this up. I'm up 12 now, and I did, in fact, draw the 3 I's I was trying to avoid. EIIISWW is what I pulled, and it's like, I'm sitting there thinking, like, I promised myself, and I promised Mark before the game that I'm going to stream the game, and I'm going to stream all my, or put my games on YouTube at least, and I'm just thinking, like, how could I defend this to YouTube? Like, I bingoed on the first 3 turns. I should win. But luckily I'm in okay shape. I've got Wise right here for 43, and I've got Wiz over here for 30. I decided to play Wiz first because I get to hold on to Wise, and I'll play there next turn. Or maybe I'll get something better, or maybe I won't have to play Wise, but Wiz is there. It cleans up my rack real nice. It holds onto the S. I decide to hit this first, and then I can just hold on to Wise for next turn. And I don't know if that's the right thing to do or not. We can look at a sim over here, but the sim probably has me playing whiz almost every time. You look at my estimated score after I play wise, it's 31, 32. I'm playing whiz probably most of the time. You can see the standard deviation there is incredibly low, like what, 6? So I'm probably going to play whiz next turn. Whereas if I play whiz now, I can play wise, or maybe I'll get something better, you know. So I don't want to lock myself into scoring 43 over 2 turns when I can maybe get more, or maybe not. I don't know. Yeah, he might take away wise, and then I'll be screwed. But I would do whiz again. I feel good about doing this in the moment. Mark finally has to start opening up the board now. He's down 40. He's probably going to need another bingo to do it. And so he plays Tong just to create some more lines and give this board some life. EIIJOSW is what I pull. And so sure enough, I don't actually have to play wise. I end up getting jibe instead, which is better. Shouldn't be worried about throwing the J out right now and having your opponent bingo from it. Even if he hits 40, I'm still in the driver's seat in this game. So jibe comes down. And Mark plays flog, so it looks like he's just dealing with some drecky, crappy racks with O's and G's and annoying letters. GIOPSTW is my pull now. And I don't know if I did this turn right at all. In fact, I'm pretty sure I didn't. But I decided to address the J right now and just hit joist for 36. I figure even if Mark bingo's right here at the 14F spot, I'm probably still going to win the game. GPW will allow me to score a lot of points next turn, and probably for the rest of the game. So even if Mark does hit the small bingo right there, I'm ahead by enough that I'll probably live. Another thing I could consider here is wipe for 28, but that potentially lets him bingo for 90, and it doesn't score as much for me, so maybe I'm in worse shape after wipe. But then I've got GOST. The S is nice. GOT don't really score that well, but they're more bingo prone. I think wipe is definitely the play if you're trying to maximize your spread or win by a lot. But I think I'll probably win this game just a little bit more often if I play joist. And Quackle's pretty bad at figuring out how to open and close lines at the end, so I'm not even going to simulate this. But yeah, if you've got an opinion on it one way or the other, you could let me know. You could also be really, really aggressive and play Wog if you really wanted to, or something like that. But I played joist again. Terrible leave, but so many points that it's probably okay, maybe. Correct me if I'm wrong. What does he do now? He plays Rami right here, RAMI for 25. So Mark's doing a great job of just creating more lines and making the board more dynamic. What Mark is not doing a good job of, though, is drawing blanks. I drew the second one right here, and I've got a couple options now. I can play something like Few or WAP or something like that up here. I guess Paul would be a better version of that, right? Or I can go big. I can play Gawped up here for 44, cash in the blank right now, but also like win the game. You know, I decided to be smaller though. I decided just to play I played few because I was looking at the remaining I's and N's, and I'm like, ING seems pretty good for me right now. Mark is probably going to have to open the board again if he wants any chance to win, so I'm happy to hold bingo prone here and just bingo where he's trying to, especially now that I've got the blank. So that's what I decided to do. I guess you can also play Gopper instead of Gopt, but they're exactly the same play. So I play few. I think I can do basically anything now that I'm drawing blanks. He drops LI right here. I'm sure that's not what his actual rack was. Let's go ahead and get rid of that. He's just going to drop LI there, but this is no longer a bingo line because I just played few. So, you know, it's basically going to come down to this spot here, or conceivably maybe an outside shot at the B row or the 13 row if he has something that fits perfectly. But it's my turn. I get to make another play. AGHOPT blank is my rack. And I'm actually looking at the unseen pool, and it looks like with most things I can draw, I'm probably going to have a bingo. I figure if he plays LI, there's a good chance he's holding on to another L and or another I. So I figure an N is an extremely likely draw for me right now. I see Phonate or Phaeton are things that I can draw. And if I don't draw an N, then he's probably got a lot of N, so his chances of bingoing aren't that good. Anyway, I decide, like, you know what, I'm just going to drop the G right here. I'll probably draw an N, and if I don't draw an N, he's probably got too many N's to bingo, and I can respond to whatever he opens by bingoing. So that's what I do. He drops G-E-Y right here for 21. And I did, in fact, pick up an N, so I have Phaeton, Phonate, whatever, all those bingos. Unfortunately, I'm an idiot, and I missed the actual playable bingo. I kind of assumed Mark would open up the board, but I guess, I don't know if he didn't have the right tiles to open it up, or he thought I would hit him with the bingo or something, but he didn't open it up as well as I would like. Now, Mark does have Linux right here as an out bingo, so I have to make sure I do something about that, and maybe that's why I got distracted and didn't bingo out here, or didn't even think about bingoing out. If you want to look for the out bingo that I wasn't able to find, you're more than welcome to. You can see what an idiot I am. But I spent a while and finally was just like, you know what, whatever. I'll play Pony here. I bet he's going to try and play Linux here and just stick an E on Tapadera. You know, you play to win the game, so why not give it a try unless you're totally certain. But the bingo I missed is Haplant, which is sad and annoying because I'm a biology person. That's also disgusting, anti-phone or whatever that is. But basically, any play that blocks Linux is going to win me the game here. So I just play Pony, and sure enough, like I felt like a psychic. He did try Linux and Tapadera, and so I knocked that off. And I decided to go play up here because I wasn't like 100% sure that Tapadera took an S. So I play late up here, give up 2 spread points, but it's not the end of the world. Anyway, this was a lesson on how to get really lucky at the beginning of a game, almost lose the game anyway, but then get lucky again at the end of the game and win the game. Not super thrilled about the way I played, but also don't think there was like a huge mistake. I think I took some shots mid-game that didn't work out, and maybe I shouldn't have taken those shots. Maybe I should have been more risk-averse. But things worked out in the end. And then, of course, I'm an idiot for missing Haplant at the end. But who likes spread? Not me. So anyway, that's that game. Not too much to say. Just luck box at the beginning and hang on to win. I do have some more interesting ones coming on down the tap, though. I have some really good games, day 3 and 4. So stay tuned for those. Thanks for watching, guys. Sorry it's been so long since I made a video.